Mr. Wildeboer? Ms. Justice?
Here.
Mr. Perry?
I'm sure he'll be coming in just a moment. Let's see, our next thing on our order is Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Justice, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our invocation today will be given by Chaplain Georgiana Pickney of the Lower Cape Fear Life Care Hospice.
Good morning. My name is Georgiana Pinkney. I'm a chaplain with Lower Cape Fear Life Care. I am grateful for the ask to pray for the leaders of our community today. Let us pray. Gracious and loving Lord, we thank you for this day, the giver of all things that are good and worthy. We thank you for our many blessings, not just for ourselves, but for our schools and community. We thank you for the abundance of successful outcomes in school events and for the staff of New Hanover County. We ask for the blessing of discernment as we continue to seek wisdom, strength, and courage in all of the planning we do today. Guide our thoughts and deliberations and allow us to make conscientious decisions for the good of those who have confidence in our leadership and put their trust in us. We ask, Lord God, for the insight to lead with integrity, to reflect what is good and right for the community we serve without self-interest, but with fairness and integrity. Lastly, Lord, help us to have compassion in our hearts, and may our actions reflect your values of service and justice. We pray that by working together, we have a united purpose and create a positive learning environment for all. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
And I want to thank everybody for being here today. We do have a lot of policies to get through, but and they all come to us from the NCSBA. But we have a lot of those also are just one word, something in a cross-reference or something like that. So some of them are pretty substantial, others not so substantial. So my thought is, well, let's go ahead and go forth. I will make a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Please, any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that passes 2-0. We will carry on approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion we approve the minutes as stated.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, we will carry on. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, passes 2-0. All right, let's go ahead and roll up our sleeves and get right into it. Why don't we use this sheet here, and we'll kind of go through this one here, and that kind of thing. And I think most of these we can just move on to the board, but I'm just blowing up my phone. Oh, Dr. Barnes will be here in about 10 minutes, so I'll talk really slow. No. First we have 1310. We'll go through each one of these, and again, if there's any discussion or anything, we can just moving on. The two changes there were 3H and DD. H, 3, and again, everything is highlighted in the red.
Oh, yeah. That's fun already. What page are you on, sir? Because I've got all these pages with one or two
Oh, you're doing that one, okay.
28, thank you. Thank you. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah, DD is on the last page, is on 8, well, 8 or 15 on this. And it says, deleted the word that, deleted the word provides, and has a whole bunch of additional bases of sex. Title 9, sexual harassment, prohibited conduct, and reporting process.
And Mr. Wilbur,
Yes, ma'am.
according to this, not the one, bottom of ours, but what page are you on then? Page? No,
30.
his, he knows what I'm talking
Mine, I'm on page of the particular policy. DD was on page 8.
Okay.
Yeah, 8.
Sorry about that. They got all kinds of different things flying
then-
around here. Lots of red marks.
3, 8, yeah.
Okay, I
Well,
got it.
some of them have, you know, a lot of changes. This one doesn't have quite as many changes.
Yep.
Let's see if I can find the other. 3. Mhm.
28, and, yeah, page 8 of ours.
So is there any discussion on it? If not, I'll make a motion, we move policy 1310 on to the full board.
Second.
Okay? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes 2-0. That would be with the amendments of 1310.
Okay.
All right.
School safety, right.
Next one I have is 1510,
Mm-hmm.
school safety. Changes there are C, 5, and 6. So we have just some minor changes there.
Mm-hmm. Thank God.
Principal supervisor must notify the superintendent immediately of unsanitary conditions or repairs needed to meet safety standards. I think that's pretty straightforward. I will make a motion, and there's, again, some changes in section 6. It says, you know, sexual harassment, prohibited conduct in reporting process, sexual harassment grievance process, etc.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion, we pass 1510 on to the full board.
I second that motion.
Okay? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Boy, this is going to be an easy day. All right, carrying on, 1710. This one's got a lot of changes in it.
This is on, yeah, okay. I guess
Yeah.
there's page 45, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the one that was really surprising. I mean, just all the, this is, yeah, somebody was having fun with it.
Okay. Anything you'd like to discuss, Justin?
No,
Would you like to make a,
I move that we pass policy 1710 as written from the School Board Association. There's actually several of them on there, 40, 20, 72, 30.
Okay, and I will second that.
Okay.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Wow.
Okay, this is an easy process here today, I like it.
Yes.
All right, 1720 is next on my list. Title IX. And, let's see, BC, and some changes in section B. Section.
So much of this is grammatical error.
Section
changes.
C, just cross-reference and then some cross-reference. I'll make a motion, we carry 1720 onto the full board.
Second that motion?
Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Oh, this might be a fast meeting.
Well, so much as, I mean, paired,
Yeah.
what they did, I don't,
Yeah, yeah,
It's-
yeah.
there's not substance as much as grammatical. I don't know the word, you know, you have to be a legalese to say whatever they're doing here.
And Ms. Blanchard, if you see anything you know, that we need to stop on, please, or anybody, if you have anything you'd like to add, or just, you know, for the discussion.
Wow. The next one's-
1725 is our next one, Title IX, Sexual Harassment, Prohibited Conduct, and Reporting Process. There's a whole new paragraph there. Not meet the standard of sexual harassment by this policy, may nevertheless violate other board policies. So it kind of just talks about that. Superintendent is responsible for ensuring the effective notice of this policy to students, parents, employees, and applicants. Sexual, talks about what sexual assault is, dating violence, domestic violence, stalking. And there's a section that's deleted. I'll make a motion that we carry 17, 25, 40, 35, and 72, 36 onto the full board.
I second that motion.
Okay, first and second. Any other discussion? If not, we'll carry that onto the full board. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Mr. Perry, welcome.
Hey.
Apologize for my tardiness. I get maybe crap right from here.
That happens at times. We are carrying on. Just to let you know, we have a sheet that Ms. Gadesky made for us that kind of talks about all the changes. And we're actually on we're just going policy by policy. We're on, let's see, 70,
Page
page
yeah.
71.
Have we already passed the agenda?
We have.
Yes, we have. Oh, should I have added the other one? Now I'm feeling bad. The one that you were interested in, I had forgot all of.
We can do it with supermajority, which is the
Yeah,
same as the
yeah.
majority here.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, may I make a motion to add
Which one?
the one that I sent you to the agenda?
2330, is that right? Okay, there's a motion. I'll second that.
Okay, we're adding it, just
Add.
adding
Just adding, yeah, for discussion.
to our discussion.
Yeah. So 2330, is that right? 2330?
And
Okay.
did you have a hard copy of that also?
She does.
You did wonderful. I can't even imagine this.
Okay. All in favor of adding 2330 to today's agenda, please say, signify. Sorry?
Following complement.
2330. 23, all in favor of adding 2330 into today's conversation, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That passes 3-0. We will add that at the end of our discussion, which is, I don't have that. We are on policy,
Oh,
Where am I?
1726.
the 1725R, I believe we're at,
Yeah?
isn't it? Yeah,
Oh.
70, 1725,
Where's
40,
25?
35, 72, 36R.
Where,
Thank you, ma'am. And that basically just deletes that whole thing. So I will make a motion that I guess we delete 1725R.
so that's why,
Is there a second? Second? Any discussion? If not, all in favor of deleting 1725R, please signify by saying aye.
aye.
All opposed? I guess that carries 3-0. We'll count it as 3-0. All right, now we're on 1726. What page is that?
71.
71. I'm just going off my computer, please. All right, 1726. Second paragraph adds the words for admission or, and then there's a cross-reference change, or addition, excuse me.
I see where all
Okay.
these are, good grief.
All right, I'll make a motion, we pass 17, 26, 40, 36, 72, 37 onto the full board. Is there a second?
I'll take it for discussion with you.
Okay. All right,
Wow.
go ahead, discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Perry.
Just trying to understand from my attorney. It says, this section says, asking for admission or employment of the child. Are we talking about actual employees? Because I thought Title IX was the, that was the type of salary.
No, Title IX, right. Title VII is specific to employees, but Title IX covers sex discrimination in the program entirely. So there's the weird part. In theory, an employee could bring in Title IX. It's odd. I mean, I've never seen anybody do it, but it is possible.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of passing 1726 et al. On to the full board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Passes 3-0, and we carry on.
We carry it.
1735. Okay, this is actually renaming this to 1735. That's part of it. It also is in section A. It changes Title IX sex to Title IX sexual harassment, prohibited and reporting process, deleting the words discrimination, grievance process, and biased. Is that biased? Yeah. Based, I'm sorry.
What page are we on?
Ms. Brinson, what page are we on? 88. 88?
A big book today.
Yeah. All right, so again, we're just adding those. 1735, is there a motion to carry that on to the full board?
I'll motion that.
Thank you. I'll second that. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir?
What's the changes? Why are we getting rid of?
The changes, again, this all came from NCSBA.
Just a
but
couple little things.
It's adding 1735 as the policy number. Then we're changing the word Title IX sex to Title IX sexual harassment, and adding the words reporting process.
This is in relationship to other policies.
Yeah, they're literally just a couple words.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think they're actually, like on page 91, for example, they're changing the word sexual harassment to sex harassment, which actually is more accurate.
So
Title
it's-
IX,
Somebody was cleaning
harassment
this
is a
up.
form of discrimination, so it doesn't have to be motivated by, you know, a sexual interest. It could be motivated by
Lots of
sex.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we are on 1735. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0.
Oh, this one's fun.
All right.
Hmm.
Next policy for us is 2302. 2302, remote participation. Again, not a whole bunch of change here. I got 23, Section 7 and Section 9.
Yeah, it's just mainly saying that do a roll call. That's the only way you can vote in this
Right.
manner.
And it deletes the votes will be by voice vote rather than a show of hands.
Yep.
So,
I move that we pass this.
okay, I'll second it. There was, Ms. Mason just texted in, make sure you press your button when you speak. She can't hear you.
Oh, she must be listening.
She's listening, yeah.
That's a good indication.
It says green, so,
If it's green, no, it's Norwood's.
oh,
It's Blanchard's, sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Can you?
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
What are we are deleting,
Well, between 7 and 8, we're deleting the words, all votes will be by voice vote rather than a show of hands.
Trying to make sure that, yeah, there's
So-
change.
And all votes will be taken by roll call as added.
okay.
So just-
And is this the remote participation, because right now, are we, if I understand the policy at the present, is that at least that we're going by, if somebody's not allowed to call in remotely, even if they have a good excuse, and actually vote.
Right, well, this is only, if you look at Section 1, it's state declared emergency.
Only if
Yeah,
they-
right.
Yeah, so if the governor says we're, you know,
Not that I like the other policy either. I think if you have a legitimate excuse not to be here, then I think you should be able to participate remotely, but that's another a thing for another day.
exactly. Okay, anything else for 2302?
No, I move that we pass it.
And I'll second that. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, 2302 goes on to the full board. All right, 2342 is next. Voting methods. And again, you can see there in the beginning, we're deleting
same
the word
thing.
however, I'm putting in the word but, deleting in another event. I'm getting buzzed again. Mics are good now. Okay, mics are good now. Thank you, Ms. Mason. Voice from on. All right, and then written ballots may not be used for remote meetings held during state declared emergency. So, pretty straightforward. I'll make a motion that we pass 2342 onto the full board. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Again, passes 3-0. All right, next I have the 3225, and section B3 is what I have highlighted. 23. $342. No, sorry, we've already done that one. Let me get on then to the next section. All right, then we are on to 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're on 3225.
Yep, and this has to do with
Technology
technology.
responsible use.
And we have a new section added, school system, Wi-Fi hotspots and/or services may be used off school system property only by students and school staff members who need them. Such use must be primarily for activities that are integral, immediate, and proximate to the education of students.
I'll second that for purposes of discussion.
Okay, well,
I make a motion.
you
then.
can make the motion, I'll second that. Okay, just go ahead, discussion?
Yeah, so, are we talking about all Wi-Fi hotspots? I mean, a lot of places have some public hotspots just for perhaps at a football stadium or, you know, an auditorium or something that's usually for the public, and then we have a separate one that we have for employees only or for children. Is this supposed to be for all or just some?
This is for like personal hotspots that you would actually check out. It's actually individual for, on buses and other things. We don't have these. We had them during COVID. We don't have them now. But it's basically MiFi. When a kid doesn't have internet access at home or a teacher, they're able to check it out to use it at home.
That's very cool.
Okay, so this would place no restriction on us having and do we need some better language to, if it says all, the way it's seeming, it's not, it's basically all Wi-Fi hotspots run by the school system. Do we have any that we open up to the public for, say, at football stadiums, et cetera?
We do not do public Wi-Fi at all.
Okay. Not that I think that would be a terrible idea to help parents. You know.
We have to make sure the internet that we provide is funded through E-rate, and for that, it has to be for the purposes of instruction. So we can't just have wide open Wi-Fi to be used for streaming movies or whatever the case may be. So this is hotspot, so this is, they're talking about just the little, small little hotspots, the MiFi kind of things that you get. That's all that this one is talking
This is
about.
not, yeah, so we're not talking about, if we would have, at this point, it wouldn't prohibit us from opening one at a stadium at the moment?
No, it would not.
Okay.
All right, we have first and second, all in favor of 3225 being sent on to the full board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, passes 3-0. Next, we have 3400.
What page are we on?
3400. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And page 2 on this, it's got a whole bunch of the following. Letter grades may also be used when applicable. FF, used for a student who does not have a passing grade based on content, but also has been absent for at least 10% of the classes for the course. Complete, pass, withdraw, passing may use courses, and CDM. And then legal references on the bottom there, State Board of Education policy. Is there a motion to pass this on to the full board?
This is state law,
This
right?
Yes.
I-
It is State Board of Education policy, it's a policy,
Yep.
not a law.
They oversee us, yeah.
So-
I so moved.
Okay, and I'll second it. Discussion?
Yeah, so this came from new law or new State Board of Election policy?
If you look at the bottom, State Board of Education policy, grad-009.
When was that passed?
Good question. I did not know that. Let's see if we click on it.
How many of these, I guess my other question, we were trying to get an answer to that, is how many of these we currently using anyway, or would these be new, like FF, incomplete, et cetera?
Click on that.
Well, I'm sure there's,
I do not know. Does anybody?
I'd like to probably, I mean, perhaps you could speak to it,
this is,
Ms. Hamilton.
This grad policy was
the copy I have in my hand it was most recently revised just within the last few months.
Oh, okay.
And we have talked about this before because we also changed some other policies based on this. I guess we had overlooked this one. But it was in the fall of 2024, I believe, that it was most recently passed, that historically, you could get an FF if you were passing the course, but because of absences, you could not pass the class, but they've taken that away. And so now, if you are passing the class regardless of your absences, you have to have the grade.
This is because somebody didn't want to, somebody wanted somebody to graduate for senior skip days for a week or two, and now we're required to pass them regardless.
Well, if they're passing the class,
They're passing the
if they
grade,
have
but
the
they
grade
had
and
too
they're
many
passing the
absences,
class.
So now we can't function.
Well, and this is state law, so we haven't got a lot to say.
I know, I'm just trying to understand where it's coming from.
And this grad policy also has where we can no longer give pass-fail for graduation requirement courses, which we had been doing during credit recovery, but that's changing as of the fall of this year.
Let's do
Oh, so currently it's still available for,
Currently,
For this
pass-fail will
school
still
year?
be available for summer school credit recovery in high school, but this will be the last summer that that's applicable.
that. Is that
oh,
what
then
you-
I would make a motion that we keep pass, that we amend this, the pass, fail part. If we're gonna continue to use it through summer school, we can pick it up later after the summer session is over. Do I have a second on that, Mr. Justice? Because we don't wanna take it out and then before, if they're still gonna be using it for the next.
Well, that's rational, but how do we do this legally? That is state law. That's what-
It says that it has to start in the fall, in the 25-26 school year.
Oh, so we're okay.
You could
So it
add
keeps
that, you
doing
could
it.
add that caveat.
Yeah, maybe we could say beginning in
Those dates, the fall of
The-
2025.
Yeah, I think maybe on that red section there, the following
That's a good idea.
letter grades may also be used as applicable after July.
Or to say the beginning of the 2025.
Yeah, that's what they said there was beginning of fall
Yeah,
of 2025.
After August. I'm looking over you, Dr. Hamilton.
Whenever school
I'm
starts.
sorry.
Would that be, what are the dates? So maybe we could change it and just add, the following letter dates may also be used as applicable after July.
Beginning 25-26 school year.
Okay,
That's my motion for a minute. Do I have a second there?
okay, and I'll second that, so we'll add that caveat in there. So, so we have a first and second to make that, let's vote on that first.
Okay.
All in favor of adding that caveat in, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 3-0.
Good catch.
Now, all in favor of passing 3,400 as amended on to the full board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, did you get that? Okay, just make sure we're all on the same page. We will carry on. Feels like we got a lot. 3420. 3420 is student promotion and accountability. And I had, let's see, 3420 is I. It's a change. Yeah, all the way down the third paragraph under section I. And it's got exactly the wording we just said, believe it or not. Beginning with the 25-26 school year, students shall earn a numeric grade for credit recovery, which is exactly what we just said. Which will be factored into pre-existing incomplete or fail course grade on the student's transcript to a degree proportional to the percentage of the course completed through credit recovery, resulting in a new passing numeric grade for the course. And it's got several sections deleted there at the beginning of the course. A course, and the credit recovery will be graded as pass or fail and will not impact on the student's grade point average. So,
So we're taking that out.
yeah, that's all deleted. So when we're adding that new paragraph I just read in. I'll make a motion we pass
Right.
Second.
3420 on, we have a second. Discussion. Mr. Perry.
Why are we taking it out? Because the numeric grade was, it was pass-fail. Now we're saying to get an A through an F. Why are we taking that out?
We're taking out the, it says, the paragraph before it says, a pre-assessment of students' understanding of the course material will be
Oh,
administered
this is the new text.
at the beginning
Oh,
of the
okay.
course.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All in favor of passing 3420 on to the full board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. We'll carry on. Next, we have 3620. Extracurricular activities and student organizations. And the change here is number 1. Oh, here it is. Deleting the word interscholastic athletics. And then section A, student participating in interscholastic athletics may enter an agreement to use the student's name, image, or likeness, subject to the requirements of 16 NCAC 6E 0211. Anybody have a question about that? Go ahead.
Is this new law?
Blanchard?
It looks like a new admin code section has been adopted for this.
I just want to just state for the record that what I've seen in collegiate athletics since they started paying players and has been very detrimental to student athleticism at the collegiate level. I don't want to see it happening here. You got people you got students in colleges and universities staying 1 year, transferring somewhere else so they can get paid more NIL money with a transfer portal that's ridiculous.
Well, we can't even hire
And
teachers.
now we're talking about paying high school students. I mean, what happened to, this is supposed to be amateur athletics, not,
Yeah, but we're not doing that. That wouldn't touch us.
To give you an idea, the new NIL regulation says that a student participating in athletics may enter into an agreement to use the student's NIL subject to the following restrictions. The agreement shall not condition the receipt, type, or extent of compensation on performance. If the student's under 18, the parent or guardian must be a party to the agreement. The agreement shall hold the following parties harmless from any liability arising from the agreement: the governing body of the school system, any administering organization, that would be the North Carolina High School Athletics, the State Board of Education, and the NIL agreement shall otherwise comply with state and federal law. So, there are other requirements, but they are allowed. The NIL agreements cover public appearances or commercials, autograph signings, athletic camps and clinics, sales of non-fungible tokens, and I still don't understand what an NFT is, product or service endorsements, promotional activities, including in-person events, and any other commercial activities. So you can't make any reference to your school in the NIL agreement activity. So you couldn't, a student, let's say a New Hanover County student, could not have an NIL appearance wearing their Hoggard football jersey. They can't, can't drag the school in it. And
is
they can't
this
receive-
a requirement?
These are the
Or is
requirements.
this something that's voluntary, that a school board district could choose not to participate
But
in such a
Charles-
manner, or are we required by the state to do this?
It's mine, Dr. Horn?
You can get me up to speed just a bit.
Okay, we're talking about policy 3620, and we're talking about the new paragraph they put in here, students participating in interscholastic athletics may enter into agreement to use the student's name, image, or likeness, subject to the requirements of 16 NCAC 6E 0211.
So what I think, and Ashley, you may correct me if I'm wrong, what I think this is it used to be just pro ball players that would enter into a shoe agreement or whatever. Now college students, I know there's a student in my son's college who had her own clothing line. I think you're probably seeing that go one step down, but this reads to me that a student can market his name. You know, because now, of course, some kids go pro right out of high school. I think that's what that is. So would have to ask Ashley if-
I just think this is completely horrible. And if we have any way of not doing this, I would vote that we not do it. If we're required to by state law, then I guess we have to, but.
I can give you a little bit more guidance on that.
Yes, sir.
This comes from the State Board of Education's rules were adopted in response to a lawsuit in Wake County Superior Court, where Judge Graham Shirley found that the Board of Education breached Senate Bill 452. What happened was the North Carolina High School Athletics Association had transferred the bill had transferred their regulatory authority over to the North Carolina Board of Education, and Shirley found that the board had been directed to regulate but not prohibit NIL deals. And the board apparently, their first step had been to outright prohibit them. So he said, no, you have to now come up with rules to regulate but not prohibit.
So that's what this is.
So,
That's where we get these rules here.
Mr. Perry's question, you're saying that the judge
Yes.
ruled that we would have to do this?
This came out of a lawsuit order. That's the requirement for it.
So the State Board
And-
of Education is issuing these rules,
These are State Board of Ed rules,
so we have to.
But a
have to
judge is the
follow.
one that
Forced
stirred
them
him
to
in
do it.
that direction.
but a judge is the one.
Said you
right.
had to do this. So this is legalese on more than one level here.
It's us, right. We're required to do it now by the State Board of Ed, who was in turn required to do it by a Superior Court judge.
So what this says is the individual, the child, the parents, whoever it is, has the right to do their thing, but they can't use any of our schools' references in their, whatever their thing is.
Right, and there are some other limits. For example, they can't endorse alcoholic products, cannabis, casinos or gambling, controlled substances, tobacco, opioids, weapons, adult establishments, or any other activity or entertainment service that would disrupt the operations of the school.
Mr. Perry?
Can they, like, besides them making money from third-party endorsements, can they take, like, money from alumni or boosters of a particular high school, come play for us? We'll give you a bunch of money?
We have rules about interscholastic athletics, about transfers and where kids go to school. So you're not allowed to transfer for the sole reason of athletics.
We've actually heard people in the closed session that asked for that.
Well, that's,
I guess we have no choice, but I just think this is completely horrible.
well, this is private individual rights as opposed to public schools, the protection of the school district itself. And you can do both, this is what they're saying, but you can't mix them.
And I don't know, I don't think it's happened, but my niece is going to play for University of Georgia, volleyball. And there's a rule that says you can't contact them beyond a certain day or whatever. She was having schools and people call her at 12:01 on the day they could, petition her. Now, if she wants to have a clothing line, I don't see how that is, if it's separate from the school, I think that's a parental issue. Would be, I think, why the ruling was probably where it was. As long as it doesn't cross over to the school lines, I think that's the most important piece.
Yeah, you just came in, Dr. Barnes, so the one thing that I was, before you came in, that I had mentioned is some of these, and especially at the collegiate level, where you've got this transfer portal, you've got boosters paying players to play.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to go there, and hopefully, that's my biggest concern with that
Right,
one.
and luckily, we are ruled by the High School Athletic Association rules and our policies, so they shouldn't cross over.
All right, so we have policy 3620. I'll make a motion, we pass that on to full board as amended. Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. We'll carry on. Our next policy is 20, so it would be 4023. Pregnant and parenting students and employees. Changes to paragraph 1 and paragraph 4 and B2. So we have adding the word false pregnancy in, false pregnancy again, false pregnancy again, and deleting the words informed student and applicable, if applicable, student's parents or guardians, to provide the student and, if applicable, the student's parents or guardians. That's all we need to change on that. Nope, just one more at the end there. Unless necessary, reasonable, and legally permissible. Supporting documents or certifications will not be required. Okay. I didn't see something too. I'm sorry. After the birth of a employee's child, the employee will provide reasonable break time to express breast milk for the child or breastfeed as needed for at least 1 year after the child's birth. Okay. All that saying, is there a motion to pass 4023 on to the full board?
Can I go on?
Motion, second?
Second.
Okay, first and second, any discussion? Mr. Perry?
What is the false pregnancy part about it exactly?
That's all the way back at the beginning.
They're adding that, correct?
They're adding, purposes of this policy, pregnant or related conditions means pregnancy, childbirth, false pregnancy, termination of pregnancy, or lactation, medical conditions related to pregnancy, childbirth, false pregnancy, termination of pregnancy or lactation, or recovery from pregnancy, childbirth, false pregnancy, termination of pregnancy, lactation, or related medical conditions. So it's not discrimination.
I'm just trying to understand where it's coming from. Because we're trying to protect our female students. Just in case they think they're pregnant or not.
It's not, it's an actual medical condition that mimics actual pregnancy, and it's very complex.
Yeah, it's called pseudocyesis, and it's,
The body does.
it mimics the same symptoms of pregnancy.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
All right.
Education here.
I believe we did have a motion and a second to pass this on to full board. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes again 3-0. Next, we have 4040. Student staff relations, page 3, section D. Addition. All right. In accordance with section F of policy 7130, licensure administrators shall report to the State Board of Education, the local Board of Education, certain misconduct by licensed employees involving a student and resulting in termination. We're adding these words: termination of employment, non-renewal of an employment contract, suspension without pay. We deleted just the word dismissal. And then we have several things in the cross-reference we've changed.
We already do this. Beyond that, we already report those things to the state board anyway.
And isn't the word termination the same as dismissal? That's just,
Yeah.
somebody had fun with this.
But we have been told that we over-report anity so.
Good.
I
That's
thought
my
so.
opinion.
Yeah, me too.
I'm very happy about that.
I'll make a motion, we pass 407310 on to the full board. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, whichever.
One question.
Mr. Perry?
Are we replacing without pay with, are we replacing without dismissal with without pay? How is that exactly? I'm trying to just understand.
We're deleting the word dismissal in the first section anyway, and we're adding in the words termination of employment, non-renewal of employment contract, suspension without pay.
Oh, so that's the entire.
So we're
okay.
kind of giving it more of a definition than just dismissal.
All right, thank you.
All right. All in favor, please signify by, did we do that right?
Aye.
Aye.
No, we have, now we have.
Now we have, okay. 4040 going on. Next, we have 4240. Child abuse. Child abuse and related threats to child safety. And I have 4240, page 3, section D. There it is, there's the changes. In addition to other reporting requirements, the policy administrator shall report to the State Board of Education and local Board of Education certain misconduct by licensed employees involving a child and resulting in termination of, so basically the same kind of thing. Termination of employment, non-renewal employment contract, suspension without pay, and we're deleting the word dismissal.
It's very much like the other one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll make a motion, we carry 42, 40, 73, 12 onto the full board.
I second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That's 3-0. All right. Next, we jump all the way up to 6220. Operation of school nutrition services. 220, A1. So deleting the words, including pregnancy, childbirth, sexual orientation, and gender identity, under the first section. Leaving just the word sex.
And is that what we were talking about previously, under other circumstances with other policies, that our attorney explained to us that the word sex covers all of that? That's the reason they've changed it?
I believe that's right.
Okay.
I
'Cause that,
believe this
remember,
is tied to the other.
I believe we clarified that the turning into policies into operationalizing policies, I would think that sex includes those, so we'll operate as if it does. Because that's what the Fourth Circuit has said.
that's what we did.
And I'll make a motion, we carry 6220 onto the full board. Is there a second?
I'll go ahead and second.
Thanks.
Might as well accept it, otherwise take all day.
I'd like to make an amendment to the,
Okay.
I'd say school officials may not discriminate for any reason, period.
Huh? Well, that's
Let's get
broad.
rid of all the labels. This is a school nutrition. Obviously, we're going to give every kid a meal.
Well, I'd like to
this is
stick with
ridiculous.
the
We don't
legal
need to have it.
authorities.
Because every time you include somebody, you leave somebody out.
But I'm not, that's not in my opinion, I would like to leave it to the legal authorities to decide what is, that covers, which is what you're trying to do. But we want to do it right.
Okay. We have an amendment. Is there a second? Let's see if we get a second for that first. So basically, to delete everything after school officials may not discriminate for any reason. Is there a second to change it to that for under number 1? Okay. So, hearing none, we'll carry on with it as amended here. School officials may not discriminate based on sex, color, national origin, et cetera. We had a first and second to pass it as that way. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That passes 2-1.
Insurance.
All right, next we have 6330. Insurance. We see a change right at the beginning. No school bus, activity bus, or other vehicle owned, leased, or rented by the school system. And it's all changed, we're making it instead of school owned.
We're just
So,
cleaning up the language, I guess, is what they're doing.
that's good? That sounds about right? I think that way, if we rent a bus to go somewhere, again,
Okay.
we still have insurance on it, so it's not, we're not in that gray area. Is that about right?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we carry 6330 onto the full board. Is your second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Perry?
I don't.
Okay. All in favor of carrying 6330 onto full board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries out 3-0. 7130 is the next one I have on my list. Licensure.
This just goes back to the reporting misconduct like we spoke about earlier in several other policies. If you look on page 145, on the bottom of the page.
Okay.
There you go.
Yep. So-
Yep, same thing.
Okay.
Here we go again.
So we're replacing dismissal with a lot more words.
Which is just what I'll say is that the NCSBA is caught up to where we've been for the last 2 years, so.
Oh, that's why we're getting all
Follow
this
up.
stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion, we carry 7130 onto the full board. Is there a
I'll second it.
Okay, we have first and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Again, passes 3-0. 7232 is our next one. Discrimination, harassment,
Deleting
and
every-
basically deleting the whole thing.
Removing. Okay. That's over. What is it?
Yep, the whole policy, 7232. I make a motion, we did delete 7220.
Do we have any understanding why the
Yeah,
NCSBA is
that's
saying we
what I'd
should
like
delete this policy?
Oh, it's on our little sheet.
Oh,
Yeah, Ms. Kadeski has
sorry, I
that.
have another little sheet, thank you. Pat.
22.
She's on top of stuff, I tell
She
you.
always is.
72,
Oh, so it's been moved to another section, basically, is what this is saying.
yep. Repeals this policy instead of now addresses the information in the policy in policy 1710, discrimination harassment. So basically, we have it, but it's just being moved to a different
Okay,
section.
that's fine by me, I just didn't want it to go away.
Okay.
And apparently
So,
it's still there.
just to be clear, the direction is that we're taking the existing policy and just carting it to a different area, right?
It's going to be
No
added to.
substantive changes in the policy that we've got now.
Right.
Okay.
That's why, if you remember, we added 1710 on another place, on 1710, obviously, so. Okay, so I make a motion, we delete policy 7232.
A second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So that will not carry into full board, because well, I guess it will. We have to get them to do it. I'm sorry, they do. All right, so that's the whole policy. So next we have 1300. 1300 governing principles. And I have here, we need to check with our attorney. That's my little note here. Does this all look good to you, sir?
Which one's is this page 158?
If you say so.
150, I'm sorry.
Or 1300. It's just deleting the words discrimination and grievance procedures, just adding some policy changes.
So here we come.
That was good to you, sir?
Yes, I think they were just changing the name of the policy to I don't think there's any substantive changes, other than what we just covered earlier, changing it to, taking out the word sexual and changing it to sex, which is a better way
Okay.
Yeah,
to do it.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, I don't have any problems changing it around a little bit, but the ones, so we are, say for instance, Title IX, we're taking out the sexual and just being sex harassment. I'm not really,
No, it's
The
changing
red's taken out.
Title IX sex to Title IX sexual harassment.
I thought we wanted to get rid of sexual, sex harassment, because it's not all about,
That's how I read that, because we're deleting the word discrimination. We're
the
not.
point was is that it doesn't have to be, anything romantically involved or anything like that. It's
Because
just,
if you look in two below it, it says, Title IX sexual harassment, and then two below it says Title IX sexual harassment grievance policy. So,
I'd like to make a motion to table this to our next meeting, so maybe we get some more information on this, because I'm a little concerned about.
I'll second that, because I agree.
okay.
It is a little confusing.
All right, so we want
That's-
to table 1300. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll table 1300 till our next meeting. 1300.
Probably the same goes for 50, 100.
1300. So our next policy would be 1500, first page.
These are all the same. When you go through that, the 1700,
Yeah, I'd like to,
and these are clarifications, I'm not sure.
Okay?
I would like to make a motion to table 1500 and 1600 until our next meeting.
And that's not all.
Well, if there's another one after that,
So
oh, and
1700
1700.
too.
1700, yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, is there a second to table?
I
We've already
second
done
that.
1300, so 1500, 1600, 1700.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, okay?
So we
We'll
figured that
table
out.
13, 15, 16, and 1700 for our next policy meeting. And we are hoping to get more clarification.
Mhm.
What you're asking for.
I need more statements.
Change that.
Okay, next we have 1742, responding to complaints. And 1742A6 and the cross-reference. A6 has sexual harassment, reporting process, 1726, Title IX, sexual harassment grievance policy, bullying, and we're getting rid of the word discrimination, grievance procedures, and there's also a change in the cross-reference. I make a motion to carry that on to the full board. Is there a second?
I'd like to make an alternate motion that we table this as well until the next one. Because it still got the sexual sex thing that we need answers on.
Yeah, it looks like this is changing the cross-references in line with the one the 1500 through 1700.
The ones we're
you
concerned
just
about.
discussed.
So we
Yeah,
wanna-
yeah, I'd like to table that too.
Okay.
And
All right.
I have no idea why they changed the names of the policies there. I don't know what the rationale for that was.
We'll try to figure that out, but the motion to table 1742. Can we have a second?
I got a second here.
Okay, second. All in favor of tabling 1742? To get more information, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. I'm writing and eyeing at the same time. All right, 1760. The only change there is a cross-reference.
I think it's the same thing. So I like the motion we table that one again to get some clarification on that.
For what it's worth, Mr. Chair, 2500 is the same way.
Thank
Just
you.
changes the cross-reference.
Okay?
Just go ahead and,
So I'll make a motion to table both of those.
Okay, 1742 and 17, probably 1762, but we'll have a road.
I second that.
Okay, first and second. All right, and that's for both the 1760 and 2500.
And 7335 as well, just changes the cross-references.
Which one was it?
7335, the next
So
one.
there's one in
All the way
between it.
down.
Yeah, might as well.
4331 is not involved in that, right?
70. Okay. All right, so we have a motion to, make sure I have them all right down. 1742, 1760, 2500. What was the last one?
7335?
7335
Okay.
just changes, it's at page 171, they're just changing the cross-references.
All right, to table them till next meeting.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so carrying on then, 7340 would be our next one.
Just changes a typo in that one.
1740.
1740, I make a motion to carry that on to the full
I
board.
thought we were in 4331. I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
Yeah, we're on 4331? Where'd we go?
Okay, let's go back to 4331, I'm sorry, I was just getting ahead. All right, 4331, just a cross-reference there.
Updates and cross-references.
We are deleting bullying, harassment behavior policy, and we're changing it to bullying and harassing behavior policy.
And that's just for cross-reference.
Make a motion to be passed on to the board.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor, any discussion? Not? All in favor of passing 4331 on to the entire board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Now,
Oh,
so we're skipping over 7335. We got 7340, the next one. dress and appearance.
I was trying to find the changes, and on the computer I couldn't, but here it's clear, and it's a legal reference.
Yeah, it's just a legal reference at the end.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to understand, okay, good.
Just in red, so.
And we've done a good job of adjusting this policy. When I first came in, there were 29 different provisos underneath that.
Good God.
One so much that I had to go out and measure the gauge of someone's hearing based on their start date. So this is a much more workable, professional policy that I endorse, so.
How fun that must have been.
Very good.
I didn't do it, but I'm supposed to.
All right, so I'll make a motion, we carry 7340 onto the full board.
I second.
Second. Discussion? Mr. Parrish?
I'm sorry, I'm looking for the changes.
It's just all
In
the
the
way at
very-
the end. It's
Just
the,
the typos.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I don't have any questions.
I had the same, I was at home staring at that thing for like 5 minutes going, what's going on here? There's no change.
That's why it's nice to have red.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor of passing it on, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign. Passes 3-0. 7820 is next. 7820, at the end here, which is good. Again, only in the cross-reference, did I find anything here?
I'm still looking for,
All the way at the end of the policy.
point of order, did we include this one on the one to,
We did not.
I'd like to make a motion, again, we're dealing with the Title IX sexual harassment stuff. I'd like to make a motion to table that until next time.
I agree, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, motion to delay, or to keep 7820 in committee, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we'll add that to the list. And our regular, last of our NSBA policies is 90, bless you, 9210. Care and maintenance, and that only, we're deleting the word student safety, and we're adding school safety. I'll make a motion to carry that out. to the full
I'll
board.
second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of carrying 9210 out to the full board, please signify by saying aye.
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 Wow.
And
Now
on
the
my
last-
sheet here, we have added one more policy to discuss, which is 2330, and that came from Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you. I know the importance of being able to get stuff onto the school board agenda, and that we shouldn't have to have a majority just to get things talked about, because sometimes people can change their minds. There's also some other times when, having some more information and discussion in a committee is the best course of action before we actually do anything. This language that I added changes it, gives the chair a little bit more flexibility when it comes to requests for items to be added to the agenda. It would require that the chair, under normal conditions, still place it on the agenda of either a regular agenda review or a specially called meeting, a full board meeting, within 2 months, unless the chair feels that it would be better looked at first by a committee. And if that committee is going to plan on meeting in the next 2 months, I don't think a board member, especially with a second, should have to wait 6 months if it's one of our biennial, committees that only meet every 6 months. But I think this gives our chair a little bit more flexibility, and then we won't have each other. And then also, I put some language in there just to make sure that if the person making the motion, or making the motion to add this stuff to the agenda, isn't on that committee, that they be allowed to address that committee, when it's brought up. So, so I think it's a good compromise as far as making sure that the rights of the majority and the rights of the minority are upheld, and that we all talk and discuss and listen to each other about stuff, but gives us, the chair, a little bit more flexibility as to some things that I think are better off starting in committee. So
Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt these changes.
And I'll second that for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, purpose of discussion, thank you. I first came on the board in 2018. I've worked under a number of chairs. I fought to get this, you were around too, I believe. Because it was being abused horribly. I fought to get this ability to have, within 2 meetings, you have to put it on the agenda. You'd have to have seen how it can be abused to believe it. And it wasn't just one chair, it was every chair I worked with until, I'll be honest, you're the only one I probably would have trusted not to have that problem. But every chair I worked with did. They used it, they manipulated it, and it wasn't fair to the public because a lot of the stuff was things the public wanted to have addressed. So that's why we have the 2-meeting rule. And here's my concern with this situation. Everybody in here, not everybody, I think so probably, is familiar with how committees work and how the real world works. And there's no better place to go send something is to go send it to a committee and have it disappear. And that's very common. And so I think, the idea now of having the chair have to put it on in 2 months, and if they want to move it to committee, have the vote of the whole body, the board itself, if they want to move it to a committee. Don't put that power in the hands of a chair. I have sadly seen too much abuse by the chair. Now, I'm not saying that Ms. Mason is doing it. I said I believe that you were fair. But I've seen at least 3 chairs I worked under that were horrible in refusing to address the needs of the community. A lot of the stuff came from the community and they buried it. So that's my objection to it. I see in a perfect world that would be wonderful, but that's where things go. They go to committees to die.
Can I ask a question? Please. Sometimes, and we've seen this in the past, even with this current board, I've been obviously meeting with you guys monthly to cover other topics and make sure you guys are kept informed and things like that. Sometimes you get information that way, and it sort of says, okay, I don't really need it on the agenda because I understand it now, or something like that. Is there a way to take something off the agenda if it's something that I can produce for you in informational way? How does that resolve? Because of course, you and I were even talking this morning about sometimes our speed and efficiency is an issue because it's a hard time to get something resolved. We're already up to 2 meetings a month, which is one more than a lot of places have. They're both 4 hours apiece. That's 8 hours long. I would think if there's something that I can give you guys information about that solves the problem of having to be on the agenda, is there a way that it comes off? I guess is my question.
No, but we could put that on. We could put that on policy. Wouldn't that be the way to do it? Just like he's asking right now to have the committee sign it, we could, I'd be more than happy to bring that to policy, and we could do that next time to move to the full board. That's a good idea, by the way.
And it's because sometimes it's I'm trying to help you guys become more
Streamlined.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think that would work for informational requests. Sometimes when you put something on the agenda, you're just looking for a discussion, and you don't have a motion attached to it.
Under information.
And I think that would work for that. I'm not so sure if it would work if you actually wanted to get something passed and you had an emotion attached to it. I don't know if that would work in that particular instance.
Well, sometimes you put something on the agenda because you've heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another, you were messing around, right?
I knew you were going there.
And I can say, here's the information, and you go, okay, maybe it's not needing for discussion because I now know the whole story behind it. I guess, will of the board, but I was just...
That's a good idea, and that's something that would be something that I would be more than happy to work on, to put on a policy to have us do what we're doing now, to move to the board. Thank you for that. That's a good idea.
I'd like to make a substitute motion for this 2330. I'd like to have a month to think about it, so I'm going to make a motion that we hold the committee for this month, and then we can discuss it further next month.
Okay,
Great. And
that's a good idea.
Dr. Barnes, if you have any ideas as far as resolving this, I'd like to hear them next month.
Sure, of course.
You second that?
I second it.
Okay.
Okay. I second that motion.
Okay. All right, so the motion now in front of us first is to table discussion from Mr. Perry on the amendment to policy 2330 until our June meeting. We have first and second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. That'll be held. We already got a good start on the June meeting, don't we? Look at us. Look at us. All right. I don't think we have anything else, believe it or not. So we can look at
That
each
it?
other for another hour, or we can.
No, that's okay.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Okay, I'll make that motion then. All right. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, thank you to everyone for being here. To our principal for being here, principal of the year.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Yay.